Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Good to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded, and what we do for anybody that might be new here is typically go over the price of coins. We check out ASICS and crypto miners, and then we go over some news that was either from the previous day or that is relevant to today. All right, let's see who's here in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Mr. Tim I Am Crypto, good morning. All set? Good to see you, buddy. We have Carl Coat in the house. Ogre, my man. Backwards Miner, good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Steven Cicero, my man. Appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate you. Let me scroll through this chat quick. Power Minds, good morning. Good morning, buddy. Nerd Beast, Carl Coat, let's see, son of a rabbit. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Duke Nukem, good morning. DJ, what's up, buddy? DJ Death Star, rather. We have I Need My COD, Crypto Backer, Dakota Miner, Pauly, my man, Team JFK. All right, let's get into this market and see what we're looking like today. Not as bad as it was yesterday. Look at this. We're actually in the green. Makes you feel a little bit better, even though the prices are still kind of down. It's always worse when you see a red screen, right? I guess that's just how it makes me feel. I don't know about you guys, but Bitcoin looking like 40,184. We have Ethereum 2243. Let's see, Solana is in the deep green, only at 87 bucks though. Man, this is up 8.76%. How low did it get? Oh wait, no, you know what? I lied. It got down to 79 bucks. We said that yesterday. I remember now. Now I'm not so mad. I bought it at 85. Man, but it hit right on the head, man. $79, I swear. That's crazy. All right, we have Dogecoin 8 cents looking like. DOT is up as well at 650. We're looking like a 6.45% move. Kaspa is in the deep green at 10 cents. Man, everything took such a hit yesterday. It was unreal. Render looks like that's up quite a bit today, 7.41%. Render is one of those sleeping giants, I think. I'm not sure though. I mean, this thing's at $3.87. When I was telling DJ about it, I think it was at like $1.30, and I sold out of it. I think he sold out of it, and yeah, it's just been on a tear since. Kind of sucks. I wish we stayed in it, but it is what it is. BNB is the only one that's really down on the I guess the big time scale, right? 295 bucks at down 30.37% rather. Down isn't necessarily bad. Good times to get in, says DJ Death Star. 100%, man. Fire sale. Everybody jump in and get to it. All right, let's see. Crypto bubbles over here on the day. Looks like Manta Network is doing some good things. Up 13 ranks, 80. Oh, just up 11 ranks now. It just dropped a bit. Ranked 89. Looks like it's $2.87, up 23.6%. EHEX 15.7% up on the day. We have Pulse Chain up 16.8%. Beam up 13.4%. Everything's looking pretty good. Celestia again ranked 32, $16.48, up 14.6%. Let's check out the week. What's the worst? The biggest loser on the week is Sats, I think. They're all the same size, all these bubbles, so it's kind of hard to tell, or close to the same size. So it looks like rank 71, it's dropped a little bit. I'm not into this coin. I don't know if you guys are. Sia coin is definitely the winner of the week though. It is. Where's it at today? Ranked 90. Looks like it's down 3.4%. You know what sucks? It's weird. Every time everything else is green, this one is red, and when everything is red, this one is green. Might be a good time to sell out of it, just saying. All right, not financial advice. Let's get into this. Let's see. Fear and Greed Index looking like 48 over here in neutral territory. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, pretty decent time to buy, in my opinion. Not financial advice. All right, top 10 coins over here by coin market cap. Over on CoinGecko, we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lido Staked, Ether, Cardano, and Avalanche took 10th spot. Dogecoin and Avalanche have been playing this cat and mouse game and been flipping each other here and there. So looks like it's beating it by about 200 million at this point for the 10th spot. Interesting. I think Avalanche is going to stay in 10th. I don't think Dogecoin is going to be able to hang with it. What's up, Mr. DJ Mines in the house? Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. We have Shiba Inu in 18th. We have Litecoin in 21st. Wow, Internet Computer flipped that yesterday out of 20th by about 100 million, a little more. Interesting. Bitcoin Cash at 22nd place. Let's see what else we got. Injective. This is another coin that I don't know. I've been thinking about getting into. This one's been doing pretty good actually. It's been doing pretty good. If you can see, the 1 year is it's pretty insane. And it's Ethereum. It's on the Ethereum network. Interesting. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. What else we got? Filecoin. That's another, I don't know if this is a sleeping giant or not. A lot of people have been talking about Filecoin, which is kind of strange to me. We have Kaspa, again, a $2.2 billion market cap, still ranked number 40, which is still pretty good for a an ish coin. You know, at the end of the day, it's an altcoin that hopefully will have some great utility soon, but we'll see. Arbitrum is another one. Is anybody into Arbitrum? Actually, Arbitrum's been one of those ones that, like, I've been kind of regretting not getting into, but is what it is. See the 1 year on this one, because it had a decent dip, right? Decent time to get in, a little under $1, and then shoots up. But I mean, hey, is what it is. Can't win them all, right? Let's see how Honey's doing today. Actually, Honey, oh, whoa, oh boy, hit the mouse wheel, scrolling too fast. All right, Honey, let's see. Hivemapper is up to 20 cents today. This one took quite the poop over the last couple days. As you can see, it was up around 30 something cents. Actually, it did spike to like 58 when it was listed on Coinbase, 58 cents if I'm not mistaken, and took a ride back down. It was like a quick wick, so it wasn't really anything to capitalize on for, you know, the norms out there. But yeah, I mean, it's holding pretty good. 20 cents, man. This thing was at 2 cents like a couple months back. Look at this, November. It was a cent, 2 cents. If you guys don't know what this is, it's a dash cam basically that you earn for driving with it in your car. It's a freaking amazing machine. I thought, to be honest, I didn't think it was going to go anywhere, and deep in projects are actually going to be a big thing this year, as far as we can tell anyways. And if you go to categories here, I just found out about this the other day. I didn't even know they had this category section, but they have a whole deep in section somewhere. Where is it? Right here. And you guys can click into it and see all the projects that are in there, and Render's actually in there as well as Filecoin. So it's another reason I'm kind of, and you know what, Sia Coin's in there too, so gotta give it to that. Chia's in there. There's a lot of stuff, man, a lot of stuff. Helium Mobile, again, Hivemapper, you can see. So feel free to go check those out if you guys are interested. All right, let's get into the mining segment of things. If you guys have anything to talk about, please just at me in the chat, that way I can see. What's up, Mr. Bot Crusher? Happy hump day to you, sir. Happy hump day to you, sir. All right, let's see. We have the Wind Miner K9, top of the charts, still making $75.29. This is a 10.3 terahash unit. Not too bad. It's been very it's been going down, I guess, significantly since 3 months ago, but relatively been hanging on around this area between 70 and 90 bucks, right? So when it gets under 70, I guess we're going to be really concerned. But I still don't know anybody that has one of these units. Does anybody know anybody that has a Wind Miner K9? Anybody in the chat? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you know somebody, okay? And then I'll be able to recognize that real quick. All right, we have the Ice River KS3 8 terahash unit. This is making $56.95 a day. We have the KS3M 6 terahash unit making $40.31 a day. Let's see. Dan R said, I think I might just sell my Honey dash cam for $500 and just buy the token. They are pissing me off with the shipping and not answering my emails. They're probably bombarded, Dan R, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, you can, I would do that for sure. Why not? I put $500 into Honey the other day, actually. At 19 cents, I put 500 bucks in. Full transparency. I told my VIPs, but yeah, it's not, I think it's gonna go far. So I think you're gonna gain the most money with these like small altcoins that are gonna do well. That's just my opinion. But yeah, if you ordered, like I ordered at the beginning of January, and I don't think I'm gonna get mine until I think May, to be honest. It's either March or May, I can't remember. It's one of the M's. I think it was May, to be honest. So I'm just gonna live with the one I got for now, and hopefully it appreciates over time and we get some more I don't know, some more value in the miner, even though we had to wait that much time, you know. All right, we got the Jazz Miner X16P 5.8 gigahash unit, $19.74 a day. This is mining this Canixum. I know I'm saying that wrong. I don't know how to say it right, so until I hear it right, I am definitely saying it wrong. Anyways, I'm actually doing a test on this with just pool mining ETC. I want to see how much value it's going to bring today. It should be over today at noon, so I got to do like 2 videos. I really don't have to do any videos, but I plan on doing a solo mining video and giving you guys the profits that I made on solo mining with a few different coins, and then giving you guys pool mining stats, right, just to see where the hell this thing lands. So I got to swap this again at noon. What would you guys like me to mine besides ETC? Let me know. All right, let's see. We have the iPolo G1. Actually, this one came to my attention because of Mr. Geek of All Trades. I clearly just continued to look past it, and I didn't realize how profitable it was mining Grin. Does anybody mine Grin? Anybody here? $17.84 a day. What is Grin looking like, actually? Let's see. And then we'll get into the Bitcoin ETF stuff and market and all that. We have 8 cents. 8 cents right here on Grin. This is one of the coins I've never been into, but you know what? Like I said, anything that's like out of the top 100, you have like the biggest potential to earn, or at least out of the top 20 coins, top 30 or so, you have the most potential to earn a decent amount on, right? But you also have a potential to lose a decent amount on, so you guys got to be careful. Got to be careful. I wish I had one. I drive 200 to 400 miles a day, says Green Hash. Damn. Yeah, you definitely need a Hivemapper for sure, and get a demo too. All right, let's see. If you guys are interested in Hivemapper, links in the description below. But yeah, the shipping's just absolutely outrageous right now. We have the Ice River KS2 2 terahash unit, making $13.28 a day. Bruh. That's kind of terrible. All right, let's see. The Jazzminer X16Q, I have it still solo mining Octaspace. 1950 for mega hashes, just about 2 giga hashes or so. $6.68 a day, which actually isn't that bad, to be honest. We have the Ice River KS1 1 terahash unit, making $6.64 a day. Yeah, that's kind of terrible. That's pretty terrible. That's just like a kick in the dick, to be honest. We have the Jazzminer X4Q, a 1 giga hash unit. I have this solo mining Octaspace as well. $3.47 per day. Let's see. The Ice River Kaspa KS0 Pro 200 giga hashes, making $1.37 per day. Pretty awful. But you know what? I'm hoping. Listen, I hope Kaspa gets to $1, and then this thing will be making 15 bucks a day, and I'll laugh at max voltage. That's all I want to do in my life, is laugh at max. Right here, $15. Somebody clip that so we can send it to him when it hits $1. All right, let's see GPUs. Let's see what we're looking like over here. GPUs over on hashrate.no. If you guys are interested, this site's actually pretty decent. I don't think they calculate the wattage correctly, though. I think they do it in the software and not at the wall, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what Mining King's argument usually is. But look at this. We have a lithium back on the top of the charts. Hell yeah. That's sick, because I'm still mining lithium and I never changed off of it, even though this chart's been going completely insane the last couple days. We have Chlor AI also on the top of the charts for a 3090 Ti. Wow, an NVIDIA card with Chlor. Look at that. That's kind of impressive. And then AMD cards typically are good on Kapow. Xano, is anybody mining Xano? Xano's on the top of the charts with 6950 XT. We have Conflux and Radiant at the 3090 for the highest revenue, I guess. I swear I thought this was like the same thing. Highest revenue, highest profit. I think they mean to say like highest yield. Is that what they mean to say? Does anybody know? I think they need to fix that. It's confusing, honestly. Anyways, everything's I mean, there's a few different coins. CTXC. Is that Cortex? I think, pretty sure. And then yeah, there's really Nexus on some of the charts, but more or less I think the bigger GPUs are lithium and Chlor for the most part. So all right, let's get into this, guys, because it did snow and I do have to go out there and clean off the wife's car in a little bit. So let's see. Bitcoin falls after the ETF approval, but guys, don't forget, this was still one of the most successful ETFs of all time, right? This ETF, I think in a combined fashion, actually brought in like $10 billion, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, let's hear what they got to say over here on CNBC television. Guys, hit that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Bitcoin coming off, and we do mean coming off, the euphoria of its big ETF milestone, down 16% since the 10th of January. So who's doing the selling? Kate Rooney knows. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, so part of the crypto selling we've seen lately, it has to do with this loss in enthusiasm around that ETF launch, but leverage is also a big factor here, and it's an increasingly dominant force in these markets. Analysts over at Glassnode point out the buildup in Bitcoin leverage and open interest between January 9th and 11th. That was when the ETF speculation peaked. Prices neared 49,000 at that point, and then that was followed by this wipeout in some of those positions. Prices fell, and then you saw this Bitcoin sell-off over that weekend. The world's largest cryptocurrency dropped to its lowest level since December. This week, that has been disappointing for a lot of crypto investors, hoping these ETFs would unleash a flood of new interest from traditional investors and institutional investors and therefore boost prices. But the opposite has happened, at least in the near term. Bitcoin's roughly 15% off of where it was trading when those funds launched, and it's emerging as really what you would call a sell the news event, popular in the hedge fund world, which some investors did worry about heading into this ETF approval. Crypto-related stocks like Coinbase, for example, they're also getting hit this week. JP Morgan downgraded Coinbase, at least, saying today that they think a key catalyst for the crypto industry in those Bitcoin ETFs has been what they called overestimated by the crypto community. They acknowledge that Coinbase, they think, is a dominant U.S. exchange and a leader in the space, but they think the
Just real quick, I want to just let you guys know that Jamie Dimon is the owner or CEO or whatever the hell he calls himself over here at JP Morgan. So don't trust anything this company says, for one. And yeah, for two, I think everybody forgets that Bitcoin did like a 100% move. No joke, 100% move before this ETF thing happened, and we're still back to where 100+% would be. So
the catalyst in those Bitcoin ETFs, they say that has pushed the ecosystem out of its winter. They say it's still going to disappoint market participants. JP Morgan does expect the ETF enthusiasm to further deflate, as they described it, driving prices lower, along with lower ancillary revenue opportunities for firms like Coinbase. Back over to you guys.
Where were these wet blankets before the ETF approval came along? You didn't hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, this ETF approval, it's going to go down from here." Bitcoin is because it's overbought.
That's a great point, Tyler. Hindsight is 20/20. At least in the analyst community, you're now hearing a lot more of a bearish sentiment. Ahead of this news, it was a lot about the potential of institutional investors. And now the reality is hitting. You're seeing and hearing a way more bearish tone out of the sell side, at least when it comes to Coinbase and some of those names. I will say, though, all of the bearishness you're hearing on some of the crypto-related stocks comes after this massive run-up last year. So take Coinbase, for example, was up 400% last year. So there is that to take into account. That yes, there is some bearishness, but part of it has to do with valuation.
Can you think of many, if any, who predicted a 15-20% sell-off after the approval of ETFs?
There were some that did say, buyer beware. There is the buy the news, sell the rumor risk that, especially in cryptocurrency markets. So absolutely, that was.
Buy the rumor, sell the news. She said it backwards.
Being said, we said it on CNBC multiple times. There were firms who said, yes, we're excited, but you got to be careful. And now that's coming to fruition. So a couple of the Wall Street firms did get ahead of this, but now you're hearing a bit more wet blankets out there, as you said, Tyler.
Yeah, chickens roosting. That metaphor there, chickens roosting. All right.
Typically, when the news starts talking bad about crypto, it typically ends up either flatlining or reversing. It's one of those things, guys. Like the news only says so much, right? And they're gonna say what they're told to say. That's it. All right, so real quick, I just want to show you guys this. This is like 23 hours ago. SEC hack was a result of a SIM swap from that stupid what's it called? The tweet that was put out there, and the SEC said their Twitter was hacked. So this is like the little news clip on it.
We are learning more about the hack of an SEC staffer's phone. This led to the fake social media.
I want to know whose phone it was.
The post earlier this month prematurely claiming that spot Bitcoin ETF had been approved. Of course, it was approved literally a day later, but the SEC now saying the hacker changed the password to the agency's X account. This after gaining control of an employee's phone number. It said that the employee was targeted in what's called a SIM swap, attacking through the telecom carrier effectively. The SEC also saying that multi-factor authentication of its X account had been disabled last July and was not re-enabled until after the incident. The FBI's investigation into the hack is ongoing, but as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the news you can use is if there is an opportunity to do two-factor authentication on your phone, which means not just having a password,
always do it,
but effectively having some kind of separate authenticator. In some cases, sending you a text message with a code.
You know what? A YubiKey is actually bombed too. All right, that's pretty much all he's gonna say here. All right, let's get into CNBC crypto world. Bitcoin briefly falls below 39,000. We saw it hit 38K yesterday, actually. As post ETF selling pressure continues. Now, again, I don't really think this is a sell the news event. I think we're right back to where we were before, but whatever. People, call it what you will. It is what it is. Bitcoin will rise again.
Today, Bitcoin falls further below the $40,000 level. And in an exclusive on-camera interview, Matthew McDermott, Goldman Sachs Global Head of Digital Assets, breaks down the big bank's involvement in spot Bitcoin ETFs.
I don't have a Solana phone, actually. Lawnmower Man was asking. Solana phone video. I don't have one. You know what? I should look into it, though. I haven't looked into it at all, to be honest.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan. Bitcoin extending its losses this morning after it fell below $40,000 for the first time since early December yesterday. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin slid more than 2% and traded above $39,000, but at one point traded as low as $38,800. This latest correction is all part of the Sell the News event analysts had been expecting post-ETF approval. In fact, experts tell CNBC that Bitcoin could fall further before it turns higher, but new all-time highs might still be on the horizon in 2024. Now, looking at the broader market, the recent sell-off also extended to Ether, which fell more than 5% in the past 24 hours, and Solana sank by around 2.8%. All right, turning to spot Bitcoin ETFs for our main story. I sat down with Matthew McDermott, Goldman Sachs Global Head of Digital Assets, to discuss these new products. In the exclusive on-camera interview, McDermott breaks down what the approval of these ETFs means for Goldman Sachs. He also says the bank is now serving as an authorized participant for the majority of spot Bitcoin ETFs trading in the U.S.
Nerd piece. Lady, blink twice for being held against your will. If you guys don't like this interview, I haven't watched it yet at all, so if it gets boring, we start falling asleep, just tell me in the chat.
A lot has happened in the digital asset space since we last spoke about 1 year ago. Most recently, spot Bitcoin ETFs started trading here in the U.S. after the SEC approved 11 applications from asset managers, including BlackRock, WisdomTree, and Fidelity. So I'm wondering, what was your immediate reaction to that landmark decision? Did you see it coming? And what does it signal to you?
We certainly anticipated it, but obviously until it's finally approved, we never kind of expected, but it certainly was our expectation that it was going to happen.
I'll put it to 1.25. If it's too fast, let me know. Someone asked me to speed it up. I don't want to go too much faster than that, though.
In terms of the actual kind of broader implication for the market, we're incredibly positive. And I think it's kind of a big seminal moment. There's been obviously a huge amount of focus, in the build up to this. And so actually seeing, big regulated institutions having that ability to issue Bitcoin ETFs is a very kind of powerful, I think, statement for the market. And I think while we might not see something kind of instant in terms of like some huge impact, I do think over the course of the year, we'll actually see the full impact of this as more investors actually come in to invest. What you're seeing at the moment is predominantly retail investors. As people now on the wealth management side, the institutions start to go through their governance process to be actively investing, I think we'll start to see a significant amount of investment from those particular parts of the industry. So yeah, we're very positive about the impact for this year. And I think as you think about 2022, where the sentiment was kind of filled with probably a lot of negativity for the most part, actually kind of having something that is really positive, I think is very good. And I think that extends more broadly across the digital asset ecosystem.
Now, Goldman Sachs actually came out with a report earlier this month outlining some of the benefits and drawbacks of these spot Bitcoin ETFs and, at the time, the potential approval of them. One of the benefits outlined in the report focused on institutional investors. Those benefits could include low management fees and investor protections afforded by these ETFs. What are some of the benefits that jump out at you?
Yeah, I think there too, as you kind of highlight, I think if you're investing pre the Bitcoin ETF, the actual cost was probably a little bit higher, and you saw the pressure amongst the asset managers in terms of even just pre-launch the pricing, and so people were driving down pricing, and the competition is very healthy. So yes, I think it's a more cost-efficient way to invest. I think the investor protections, particularly for wealth management and retail, are significant, and so that is something people really are quite focused on. But I think in the context of the institutions, that ability to invest in a product that is institutional grade, obviously can trade on many different exchanges, I think is hugely powerful. And when you look at kind of the marketplace more broadly, we've got the Bitcoin halving, potential rate cuts, not clear when exactly. Thanks. And then also you've got Ethereum upgrades. There's just a lot of positive news this year. So I do think, from an institutional perspective, the direction of travel is very positive.
And what about—
I totally agree with them. Everything is positive into this year, right? The halving's usually the big catalyst. The ETF, honestly, was just like it's really just a drop in the bucket compared to the actual halving when that comes up, right? Like that's always a way big event that happens every 4 years with Bitcoin, right? Typically just after the halving. It's usually like a couple months later. This one might be a little bit longer. It'll probably be like the end of the year before we start seeing things really move in positive direction for Bitcoin. But yeah, there's way more things coming to fruition with these ETFs with Bitcoin versus these just these ETFs.
About some of the drawbacks tied to these spot Bitcoin ETFs. According to that Goldman Sachs report I referenced earlier, they mention the fact that crypto can be traded 24/7, but these investment vehicles are limited to market hours. What other drawbacks jump out at you?
I think that's a very obvious one as well. And I think also, as we start to think about Bitcoin, if we do see huge amounts of investment into these ETFs, there's obviously a scarcity of the underlying asset as well. So that's something we don't need to worry about today, but it's something to consider on the forward. And I think for me, I think the positive aspect is the breadth of the market that it can focus on. So yes, the point around the market hours is one, obviously from a trader's perspective, they need to be very cognizant of. But yeah, I think that would probably be the
You know what? Nick Cage made a good point. He said the ETF is not Bitcoin. And you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. But what it does is it opens up the door for retail investors and the bigger guys. They'll feel a lot more confident purchasing Bitcoin through ETFs for God knows what reason. But it also, in the background, makes these big companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, all these guys that have the ETFs, they will actually have to purchase the Bitcoin in the background. So it will inevitably push things in a better direction. But yeah, you're 1,000% correct. You buy an ETF, you're not really buying Bitcoin. You're buying a piece of paper that says, trust me, bro, I got you.
Now, what does this approval mean for Goldman Sachs? I know that Goldman runs a team trading crypto derivatives for institutional clients. And I read that you mentioned that you have seen significant growth in client interest for crypto derivatives. So what else is changing as a result of these, approvals?
I think it's a really good question. And I think for us, this ability to actually be...
And you know what, real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to cut him off, but Alvidas in the chat said Grayscale lost a bunch of Bitcoin, LOL, like 30,000 BTC. Yeah, you know what? And it's because of their greed. That's honestly why. And that's exactly why I've been talking about the last couple days. In about 30 days from a week ago, we're going to see an inflow of Bitcoin again come back into the market. At least in my opinion, I think we're going to have another nice run, because there is a rule where within 30 days after you sell out of your ETF, you can't get back into another ETF, right? So if people took gains from Grayscale and they wanted to get into BlackRock, say, right, they sold their ETF, whatever, they got to do their tax stuff. That's totally irrelevant, but they want to get away from the higher interest rates over at Grayscale. They're like 1.25 or 1.5, right? And like BlackRock is like 0.25, right? Or point whatever it is. I don't know. It's like it's way lower. It's like a sixth lower or fifth lower. So if they want to get back into it, they got to wait 30 days, right? That's like the biggest thing here. So we're going to see in about 20 days or so, 25 days.
Be kind of more actively involved in the US, with these products is actually kind of, from a crypto perspective, is very powerful. So we're, active on 7 of Bitcoin ETFs that have been approved as authorized participant, soon to be 8. Plus, we were already active across, kind of the US in the context of the futures ETF, but also, more broadly across the globe, we're active in market making with the ETPs and other type products. So I think for Goldman Sachs, it's great because we can be more active. And as I look at kind of the broader markets business, it's the business that focus on ETFs, the ones looking to not only facilitate client demand, but also on both an agency, but at a principal basis as well. So I think it creates kind of opportunity in that space for a cross section for our clients. And I think as we start to think, like I say, kind of the broader product suite, you start to think about other products that can kind of, follow on from that, like structured note products and other kind of, things like that.
I came across a CoinDesk article from January 3rd, which said that Goldman Sachs is in talks with Grayscale and BlackRock to play a key role of authorized participant for their ETFs. Where does that stand now, and are there any updates?
Yeah, well, we're actually authorized participant now on 7 of the Bitcoin ETFs that launched, one of which was the BlackRock and Grayscale as well.
Coinbase is, I think, active participants of like 11 out of the 13.
So we are very pleased to be able to,
So they must have multiple active participants, actually, because I think, because JP Morgan was an AP for BlackRock, so is Coinbase, and now this company, Goldman Sachs.
Play that role with those kind of issuers. Also, when you look more broadly, Fidelity and others, we're also active with as well. It was important for us, our clients are very keen to be kind of active in these products. And so being able to act as authorized participant, which for those not familiar, that just enables you to be involved with the creation and the redemption of the Bitcoin fund units, ETF issuance certificates rather, which I think is kind of also an interesting point to mention. So had these products been kind of created and redeemed in kind, which means you'd have had to have kind of been involved with the underlying asset, that would have been more difficult for us as an institution to be involved. But the fact that they were cash, create and redemption has meant that we have been involved. And so being able to work with, like the BlackRocks and others has been very important for us. So we're delighted to be.
You mentioned potentially soon to be 8. Are you at liberty to disclose what that 8th one might be?
No, I mean, it's just something we're going through our internal approvals with, that's all. But it's kind of, I mean, it would be kind of the obvious ones as part of that.
Interesting, and it will be very interesting to see what happens in that regard. But what do you think has changed since these spot ETFs started trading, specifically as it pertains to the perception of crypto?
I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, obviously, when they were issued, there was, a focus in and around, if you're an evangelist, you're kind of creating and using, the very kind of institutions that perhaps the whole creation of cryptocurrency was designed to navigate around. Personally, I think it's exceedingly positive because, as we've seen, over the last 12, 18 months, the regulated institutions that are well capitalized, do have a very important role to play if you really do want to build out the crypto marketplace. And so allowing, the institutions, be it on the buy side and then the sell side, be it, as I said, to act as authorized participant to market make, is actually a big positive, I think, for the market more broadly. And then going back to one of the earlier points you made around the investor protections, that is obviously a big positive for, kind of a cross section of the market that perhaps were a little hesitant to get back in, now recognize that this is an institutional grade product and they can comfortably get back involved into the marketplace. But I must emphasize from our perspective, we're obviously more focused on the institutions and the wealth management businesses.
Now that these spot Bitcoin ETFs are trading, what do you think will happen with those?
It's super funny. Oval Vortec made a good point in the chat. He's like, they're keeping the camera up higher on her now. Like it's higher and closer. I didn't even notice that.
Applications for
because all you perverts.
ETFs.
I mean, a big question, obviously,
damn perverts,
kind of naturally centers around whether it's perceived to be, a security or not. And I think that will ultimately be determinant on whether it gets approved. I mean, there are different schools of thought, but, I think I personally remain positive that they will, but, we'll find out, I guess, over the course.
Yeah, Ethereum ETFs, that definitely, I think they're looming just around the corner. I don't think that, I don't think there's very, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a word. It's very likely that it is going to happen, right, with the Ethereum ETFs, even though, like, Gensler can't say if it is or it isn't a security. I guess we're going to have to find out. But within the next couple months, I think we're going to see some big things come out with probably the Ethereum ETF and then possibly like a top 10 or a top 5 or something along those lines. They got to have something.
For the next few months.
Absolutely. And the SEC is due to make its first decision in May. So it's fast approaching.
Yes, it is. It really is, yeah.
But what?
Oh yeah, it's in May. So that's the first yes, yay or nay, right? In May.
What do you think is next for crypto now that these spot ETFs are live? I know last time we spoke, you noted that you were optimistic about the acceleration of adoption. Do you think that's going to be amplified now that these spot ETFs are trading?
For crypto, I think it kind of goes back to one of the points I was talking about earlier. I think we'll start to see, a steady flow of investment into this space. I think, the BlackRocks and these funds have actually started to perform very well. You've started to see the asset under management grow. So I think we'll continue to see that. And as more people are approved to invest, I think that will be positive. I mean, you just need to look, when we spoke last time, Bitcoin was down 60%, I think, kind of year on year. If we actually look over the last 12 months, it's just shy of 100% up. So there's obviously been a lot of positive momentum, in terms of the asset class. There's been a little dip since obviously the Bitcoin ETFs have been issued, which I think is perhaps understandable, just given, a lot of the focus and hype around it. But as we start to see like the Bitcoin halving, as I mentioned, the rate cuts and things, and we start to see people, really kind of allocate a certain portions of their portfolios into this space, I think that, is going to be a positive. And if you think about, is this market being institutionalized, just look at the amount that's open on the CME. The CME now has more open interest than any of the unregulated exchanges, which, is a big shift in terms of the dynamic, which really highlights the institutions, are looking and focused on this market. And some of the activity we see within the portfolio companies that we've invested specifically points to, some positive momentum there as well. So that's good.
Now, McDermott also outlined some key
Oh, God. Talking so fast. Hold on. Let me put this back to normal.
trends and predictions for digital assets in 2024. Plus, he reveals how many crypto companies the bank currently has in its portfolio and explains how Goldman Sachs' digital assets business operates amid an evolving regulatory environment.
If you guys care about that, go check it out on their actual website. But I was thinking the word inevitably, right? Inevitably, it is going to happen where we're going to get more ETFs for crypto stuff. It's one of those things, guys. Like these big companies that are now into these ETFs, they are not going to allow these ETFs to fail, right? They're not going to have all of their, long customers jump into this ETF and then watch it dump down to zero, right? They're just going to buy more Bitcoin in the background to push the price up overall. So take that as you will. Anyways, let's get into this, right? Mr. Crypto Zombie actually does some charting. So I skipped a lot of the beginning of the video. He actually does like just more or less TA the entire way. But right here was probably the most important part of it. I started watching this and it makes sense, right? So I want to see what he has to say. Crypto Zombie, I do value his opinion, and he is a very good content creator. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. Links in the description below. But he's gonna go over, this is like, is history repeating, basically. So let's see what he has to say here. Guys, that like button, appreciate you for hanging out. 152 people here, only 51 likes. Jeez, tough crowd. Bruh. Appreciate you.
If you look historically, and this is the part of the video that I really, really want you to pay attention to, and this is why we were so adamant about the 0.618 Fibonacci, is because history obviously doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. And as you can see right here, you know, these are very easy. These are the Fibonacci levels of the...
Just to be clear, I hate asking for you guys to hit the like button, but YouTube is a pain in the ass, and they don't push the videos if you don't get likes. It's very, very annoying, to be honest.
Cycle back here from, you know, 2013 to...
Just pay attention to this, right? So this is obviously 2013 back in the day, and this is where we are now, so...
The halving in 2016. And you could see right here that once we had the halving, okay, the price of Bitcoin right here was not higher than the previous all-time high. And, you know, it might have had a little bit of a rally leading into it, but it then fell down. Now, interestingly enough, look at this. You can see right here, it went up to the 0.618, and then we had a pullback. And as we could see right here, this pullback from the 0.618 down to here was about 40%. Now, we didn't quite get down to the 0.236, but we did get to the 0.382, okay? If we head on...
So the most important thing that he gets to, like, in a little bit, you guys will notice, I'll tell you when it happens, but just pay attention to, like, how far these pullbacks actually are and, like, where we're at in comparison as of right now.
Over here, we had something similar. Not exact, but similar, right? History rhymes. It doesn't necessarily repeat. Again, here's Bitcoin coming out of the bear market. We have this...
I will never forget this point. I don't know if you guys remember this. This off a cliff was so crazy for me. This is like when I first got into Bitcoin, like around this area somewhere.
Cycle rally, here we are, the 0.618. Now, this, again, this is COVID, so very difficult for this one, because if you actually look right here, I would say that this crash wanted to stop at around the 0.236, which brought it down to around... you know, a 50% crash. Now, obviously, we ended up having a 70% crash. But again, if you zoom in here, I think it's pretty obvious where this structure was going. I mean, look at all this area right here. And then this is the COVID crash where all the markets crashed. But look what happened right after that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, we had a month of upwards. So, I mean, yeah, is it possible to have a black swan event? Sure.
These are weekly candles. That's why you counted 4.
But again, it's called a black swan event because you can't see it because it's a black swan event. So here's the halving. What do? Well, we continue sideways, right? And we don't really break until, well, I'm going to get to until in a second. I'm going to show you what we could expect moving forward. But just to point out the similarities again, we have the 0.618, right? So, you know, assuming that we have that correction, well, we've already had about 20%. If we stop at the 0.386, that's around 35, or we can come all the way back down. You know, if you think we're going to go to the 0.236 again, that's around $27,800. But again, I don't believe that's going to happen because without that black swan...
If that does happen, how many of you guys are buying? Put it in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to buy if it gets down to below 30.
You know, event, we would have never fallen below that. Now, let's also look at something else. Let's look at what happens when we do have the halving, which, by the way, is coming up in April. So here's the halving back in 2016. And if we just, you know, go out here, how long did it take Bitcoin before it broke the new all-time high? Well, it took about 259 days for Bitcoin to break the new all-time high, right? What did it do over here? Well, keep in mind, we were not above the previous all-time high by the halving. We did chop sideways for about 147 days. Then we started to take off. And how long did it take until we broke this all-time high? Well, that took about 189 days, right? So it was a little bit shorter. Well, if we come over here, we're obviously approaching the halving as well. And we know that Bitcoin is never higher than the previous high leading into the halving. And we know that the halving usually is a little bit of a disappointing event when it happens, right? It generally goes...
Did you guys all hear that? It's never higher than the high before the halving, and it's a little bit disappointing. Mr. Rude Puts, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. Keeping the stream alive. $2.49 euro. Crypto to the moon. Pump it. Appreciate you, buddy. Absolutely. I will be purchasing if it goes under 30K
goes
myself.
Sideways. And the reason is because it takes a little bit of time for that shock to go into the system. The same way that, you know, the printing the money, right? The inflation took time to set in, and the rate cuts didn't, the rate hikes didn't have an immediate, you know, response from the markets. The same thing is going to end up happening with the rate cuts, and the same thing happens with the halving. So come out here. And what do you guys want to say? You want to do like 200 days? We'll just make a little average between 189 to 2, whatever. We'll say 200 days, right? So, you know, if we come out here around 200 days roughly, you know, that says that Bitcoin shouldn't put in a new all-time high until about November of this year. And, you know, this...
There you go. Q4. That's what I was saying. Probably towards the end of the year. Again, Rud Puts, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much.
Goes back to my statement of saying that I think we can see a new all-time high for the end of this year for Bitcoin, but you have to be patient. You have to understand.
All right, so this is the most important part for me. What he shows here. This little I forget what this is called. I don't know. Super guppy maybe or something. I don't know. Some trading lingo. I don't know. But this chart is phenomenal, so pay attention to this one.
That we are looking for a potential sideways, maybe accumulation. But of course, looking historically here, heading into the green Gaussian flip, you could see that not only does it generally act as support, and it does kind of
green Gaussian flip, I guess.
And it tell you when we're coming back down into the end of these markets, but it usually never really comes back, right? But you can see there are still massive corrections even after the flip, right? We have the flip here. Bitcoin falls 50%, still on this upward trajectory. Look at this, crazy. Look at this, 81%. Guys, this was
we had an 81% drop and the thing was still positive.
It was an 81% correction for Bitcoin in just 2 weeks. I mean, imagine that. No, I don't think that's going to happen again. But again, getting back here, you know, we flip into the green. We're obviously in the bull run for a while with, you know, again, multiple 30, 40% pullbacks along
Look at that. Typically, like you said, when we flip into the green, that's usually the start of the bull run.
Way. And keep in mind, guys, this is all being done without institutional inflows, okay? Same thing here, right?
Institutional inflows, aka the ETF.
We flip into the green. Now, okay, this one, okay, a little bit of an outlier because we did in fact go down, right? We did go down, but ultimately, really, if you take out, again, just kind of scribble out, like I know I keep saying ignore COVID, but really it was a black swan. Kind of scribble that out, and we're just riding along on the heart line, right, of the Gaussian channel. And again, we continue to the upside with it even acting as support. Well, we've broken above it again. So what this is telling
this is where we are. So we can absolutely come back down into the 20s and still be okay. This is still the beginning of the run. That's the overall moral of the story here. Again, shout out to Crypto Zombie. He's fantastic.
Is that, yes,
he does live off his trades, by the way. So if you guys don't trust this TA, I don't know what to tell you.
Be looking for Bitcoin to follow a very similar situation. Now, again, I don't know what's going to happen with the halving, or not the halving, with the ETF. You know, this is the first time we've ever seen it. We don't know how this is going to affect the demand. We know we have some sell pressure right now, but you know, it's just something to point out. And also something kind of interesting, just this is not anything to do with Bitcoin, but for anybody out there that's been looking into the altcoin market, Ethereum total 2, meaning basically every
Oh yeah, this is the altcoin market. That's right. So the total 2, all of the altcoins, right?
Outside of Bitcoin,
yeah,
actually has in fact just flipped green. Okay,
that's amazing.
So this is telling me that the long-term trends are in fact intact, but the short
That's amazing. That's very amazing.
Short-term trends could get a little bit turbulent. And there's a lot of things going on right now with GBTC, which I'll get into. But as we said, the difference between, a protocol upgrading to a mainnet or something like that, that's a one-off. The difference is that the ETF is not a one-off. It's not a, oh, great, what's the next big news, right? And I'm seeing a lot of the bears celebrating. The same bears that were calling for 10K, 12K, they were bearish the whole way up. Now they're saying, see, I told you so. I told you so after a 150% move, and now we have a 20% correction. I still think the better play
150% move, we have a 20% correction. They're partying.
was buying and accumulating Bitcoin all through 2023. And again, what I'm saying right now is that we may have one more opportunity. Now, a lot of people are going to be new on the channel and say, yeah, okay, one more opportunity, blah, blah, blah. All right, yeah, hindsight's hindsight. I don't know, bookmark this video and I'll see you in a year.
You know what? I've been watching Crypto Zombie since I first got into this. It's been about 3 or 4 years at least. And he's actually, it's been longer than that. Like 5 years, I think, since I've been watching him. And he's been pretty on point for a lot of the stuff he says.
From what I'm looking at, from what we've been watching, if you don't even talk about the ETF inflows, everything we're seeing right now is showing natural, healthy correction. There are some people that were holding GBTC that wanted to get out. Maybe it was a sell the news event for some people. But to say that it in and of itself is a nothing but sell the news event that's going to send us into another multi-year bear market. Number one, that would be ridiculous. That would look so bad on behalf of BlackRock and all these ETFs. Do you really think they want to launch this product, push it to their clients, just to watch their clients just basically lose money indefinitely forever, like a Spirit airline or something like that? No, I don't think. That would be silly. It would be stupid. Just use your brain here. Like, I'm all for the...
Sorry for anybody that's in a Spirit airline.
Conspiracies. I'm a conspiracy theorist myself. I don't trust anything that I read or hear, but you got to be honest, that would just be outright stupid. Just got to say that out loud. If you think any different, that's fine. You're all entitled to your opinion, and time will tell.
Again, that's really big. That overall, the total, whatever it is called, I forget, but the total altcoin market just flipping green, that's a really big deal.
Now, obviously, Jim Cramer, which some people, inverse Cramer, he tends to be bullish when you should be bearish, and bearish when you should be bullish. So he's been out here, and he says, nasty beginning to the Bitcoin sell-off. Someone's probably going to try to make a stand here, but as we said last night, you can't have an asset double in value by hundreds of $billions in anticipation for an ETF, and then almost no one show up. Well, I don't know if Cramer is aware of this, but this was actually arguably one of the most successful ETF launches of all time.
It was 100. I think if you look it up, I think in a combined total, it was like 10 billion or something.
I mean, I will say by every measure, this launch has gone incredibly well. We've really seen a groundswell of interest coming from many directions. When you look at volumes, when you look at flows, when you look at how the product itself is trading, the iShares Bitcoin Trust, what we like to refer to as IBIT, has traded more than $3.5 billion since
they traded more than $3.5 billion. That's just one company.
It's launched just a little over a week ago.
That's crazy.
We brought in more than 1.6 billion.
So they alone brought in 1.6 billion. And again, it's like in a total, I think it's like 10 billion.
We're the number one issuer, new issuer, both in terms of volume as well as flows.
3.5 billion is obviously nothing to scoff at. Now, something that could be skewing the data just a little bit is the fact that some of those inflows are in fact being recycled, right? We have to call a spade a spade. It is what it is. It's not all brand new capital coming in. That's part one of the problem, right? Just because the ETF launched, you have to understand, we were anticipating it. There were some people that were sitting on the sidelines waiting to get into Bitcoin, but there's also a lot of people that truly just didn't care. Literally, I'm not trying to be like a bear. They just didn't care. Now that the ETF has been approved, now that they have the opportunity to allocate to that vehicle, they will slowly start to pull in. Same thing happened with gold. I showed you guys the charts twice already, that when the gold ETF launched, it went sideways for 10 months. Then it pumped 325%. Was that a failure? Well, for the first 10 months, I bet a lot of people said it was a failure. I bet some of those people got pissed when they bought, only to find out they were down 25, 30% 10 months into it, right? Probably seemed like a just complete failure of a launch, and yet gold literally went over 325% and just recently put in a new all-time high.
I hope he shows the chart again, to be honest, because like she shows it, like the Bitcoin ETF, as soon as it was launched, it literally was just stagnant, like a little bit of downside and sideways. And then over time, it went up. And that's exactly what Bitcoin is going to do. I mean, no one can say that for sure, right? So I shouldn't say it's definitely going to do that. But again, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. So take it as you will.
It put in basically the same high over the course of 10 years, but that is for another story. The first high, I think, is the one we're really talking about. Adding to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust situation, which there's a lot of different scenarios. Number one, maybe these people just don't want this high premium. They want to go switch into a lower premium, or they had these discounts. Number two, maybe they bought high. And maybe
again, the Grayscale's premium is literally like 6 times more than most of these other ETFs.
They sell now, they can tax loss harvest, right? Which would be great for their taxes. Another thing to note is that to those individuals that are in fact tax loss harvesting, the law states that you are not allowed to rebuy that asset for 30 days.
Right.
So that could be also, we may be seeing those just sort of sitting on the side, nothing really going on. They can't legally reallocate that capital for another month, right?
That's why I was saying about 20 days or so from now, right? I mean, they would have sold it, last week? Beginning of last week, right? So about 20 days or 25 days, we should start seeing some more money come back into the market.
These are all possibilities. The other culprit, of course, is our buddy Sam Bankman-Fried. Bloomberg, they said that FTX bankruptcy estates are 2/3 of the way done selling with the Grayscale Bitcoin holdings. So that's good, right? but they still have another 33% to go. Not to mention the fact that we also had Cathie Wood rotating out of it as well. So it says 1/3 left, should continue to sell into today, but you should expect a bounce soon, right? So could we be expecting a bounce soon? Sure. You know, I'm sure it didn't help that one of the most watched videos on CNBC is Jamie Dimon, 318,000 views, basically calling Bitcoin a tool for, you know, all nefarious activities. So again, there's a lot of different factors. There's going to be a lot of FUD.
He's such a dank. He really is. Mr. Jamie Dimon talking about Bitcoin being a pet rock.
Be a lot of hype. But at the end of the day, if you didn't know the ETF was happening, this was expected, right? We didn't know 6 months ago when or if the ETF was going to be approved. Like, we said if it was going to be approved, but we didn't really know when, right? We didn't know, which is why I was shocked that we got to that 47,000K level as fast as we did. I didn't think we were going to do that. I will admit that. But at the end of the day, that's exactly where we went. We went to 49, right? A little bit higher. Obviously, you have chances to overshoot those. But my point is, that was the level we had talked about. And just kind of remembering, if you go back, go read some of the comments on some of those videos. No way we're getting 47K. Impossible. Not happening this year. Also, just no ETF launch. Just lots of negativity. And yet that all happened. And yet here we are today, Bitcoin going up 150%. We have an ETF approval opening the floodgates for tons of capital. Not just today, not just next week, not just next month. Okay, it's only been 2 weeks. Jesus, the short-term memory of some people. Short-term, not memory. Short-term is, what is it? Minds. I can't even talk right now. Short-term goldfish. This is really bad, guys. Attention span. There we go.
Attention span.
Anyway,
goldfish.
yeah. So, and
all right. Shout out to Crypto Zombie. I don't want to watch him crash and burn, but all right. Let's see. We have Altcoin Daily. Let's see. The actual reason Bitcoin is crashing in 2024. Act now. I like to watch these videos because I don't have a chance to on my own. Guys, hit that like button. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's see what he's got to say over here, and then we're going to be getting out of here. Let's do it.
You think the first part of this year, despite being bullish for the whole year, could be a little bit skimpy in terms of return?
Bitcoin drops under 39,000 as the ETF debut continues to be a sell the news event.
Yes, Brian.
BTC was down nearly 5% in the last 24 hours, reaching its lowest level in 2 months.
You were Mr. Bull last year. You were right on the mark about everything, and now you're a little more cautious.
Now, traditional markets, like both the NASDAQ and S&P, continue to push all-time highs, yet there is growing fears with the Fed, as well as jobs, manufacturing, PMI.
I'm still optimistic for the year.
This guy, Tom Lee, is usually on point with his calls, too.
But, you know, in the first half, and we got a glimpse of that today with Fed governors talking about not sure how many cuts they want to do. That's going to make markets nervous. And we got a pretty lousy Empire survey reading today, a regional PMI, and that's going to get people worried about a soft landing or hard landing. Those don't get answered for the next 6 months. So I think it's possible that we make a minor new high before the end of the month, and then we might have something like a 7% drawdown.
And how that affects you as a crypto holder, because here's a chart of the average Bitcoin ETF. This is specifically Valkyrie's Bitcoin fund. Looks like a Binance Launchpad coin. Little joke. Gotta show the traditional market.
That's actually not wrong.
How we do things over here in crypto. And as we get in,
every time something launches on Binance, like it runs up until it gets there, and then everybody just dumps it, and the wicks just run down.
Who's really dumping prices?
That's funny.
Who's actively selling Bitcoin today? Just understand, if we look at inflation.
I think the thing with inflation that is worth noting is that a couple of things are true at the same time, which I think is interesting.
Well, yes, the rate of increasing inflation is coming down.
Inflation has cooled. We're going through the last kind of like throes of some of the random variables still being a little sticky, but the broad trend is down.
Inflation's not coming down. It's just the rate of increase, while more companies report layoffs.
Tencent's Riot Games is the latest tech company to announce layoffs. The gaming company is saying it will cut 11% of its staff, or about 530 jobs.
And while unemployment is slowly
the beginning of AI, people, AI's taking over.
Slowly increasing.
We've now started to see folks come back.
What was that strange music? I think it's on this this dude's podcast or whatever, and he was trying to cover it up.
From the new year and start to affect some pretty big layoffs, and they're across industries. right? Citibank today just announced 20,000 layoffs. That's a huge amount of people that are going to lose their jobs. So what does all of this mean? It's that I think that people expect that as inflation contracts, the money supply will expand, but demand...
Real quick, you usually have 20 seconds or 10 seconds rather before they like hit you with like a copyright, like you can't have that music in there. So that's why he did that, and that's why I'm pausing it for a second.
Has yet to reset properly. So that's the last thing. And I think Freeberg's mentioned this a bunch. Consumer spending has always been crazy. People living on credit, all of this stuff. That is now finally, I think, the last thing that has to get sorted out. So in the absence of demand, back to the way you started, Jason, companies will cut expenses in order to maintain profitability because they don't really want to cut prices unless their product really sucks.
So now understanding macro, and by the way, click the like button to support me, lets me know you're getting value out of today's video.
Yes, please hit that like button.
SBF just crashed Bitcoin again, meaning FTX, through their bankruptcy, is actively selling.
Isn't that crazy? FTX, through their bankruptcy, is selling? That's nuts, actually. Uh-oh, I hear little feet.
Hypothesis was confirmed. FTX sold 22 million shares worth $900 million of Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF. FTX had 22.3 million GBTC, so they sold almost all, valued at around $600 million at the end of last year. Good for FTX creditors, but bad for short-term BTC price and GBTC. Good for those that buy dips and value their wealth in Bitcoin. Even though this is so normal in crypto terms, it's always been 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. BlackRock's head of product explains the success.
The iShares Bitcoin Trust, what we like to refer to as IBIT, has traded more than $3.5 billion since its launch just a little over a week ago. We've brought in more than 1.6 billion in flows. We're the #1 issuer, new issuer, both in terms of volume as well as flows.
i.e., always a buying opportunity if you think long term.
What we have seen is young people
always think long term.
Specifically are putting their capital into this sector. This sector has outperformed drastically, even with the recent pull down. You know, Bitcoin is still up like 75% or something. And so I think that investors who want to have outperformance, they're going to have to allocate to this sector. And the ones that continue to fight it, they're just going to get left behind.
And let's be real, we are early.
Do you think Bitcoin is a suitable investment?
I've never been, I've never really understood the value of Bitcoin as a form of stored value.
Even the Morgan Stanley chairman still has questions.
Listen, Bitcoin's not going away. It's not a fad. I just don't think it's a core investment. I think it's a speculative asset of which there are plenty of choices.
But it's just cool to see the innovation happening in this space. This is the exclusive.
I think I'm gonna skip past this. This is his killer whales thing. If you guys are interested in it, go check it out. But we're gonna jump past that.
Is Tether the stablecoin of the future?
And crypto's only getting bigger. I loved this perspective about Tether, who is now the 16th largest holder of U.S. Treasuries.
So one of the interesting things about Tether and USDC was rising in adoption, but it's a regulated stablecoin in the United States. And so actually people internationally don't like that. That is a turnoff to them, is that there's now a coin that the United States government has a lot of oversight in. And so Tether has continued to see adoption go up. They are the 16th largest holder of U.S. Treasuries. At this point, they are an essential part of the American financial economy.
So what does that mean for Circle then as it looks to IPO? Would you be a buyer in IPO stock?
I think Circle's an amazing business, and especially with high interest rates, they're going to continue to do very, very well. I think, again, I'm an American sitting on American soil, right? I look at these things very differently than maybe somebody does internationally. But again, we cannot discount. If you're the 16th largest buyer of U.S. Treasuries at the same time that China, Japan, et cetera, is all buying Treasuries less, these things are going to become a very, very important part. And then also Tether, I mean, if you look at their numbers, right, it's one of the most profitable businesses on a revenue to employee basis in the world. And so instead of attacking these types of businesses, we should be looking at it and saying, how do we create more of these businesses? But next time, let's not let it happen outside the United States. Let's make sure that it's based here in the United States.
And big piece of breaking news, did Immutable, major gaming coin ecosystem, L2, did they just add their logo to the crypto hashtag? So big piece of branding, marketing. I'll keep you updated. Like always, see you tomorrow.
I'm muted, damn it. I said, what does that mean at the end of the day? Look at Miss Geek of All Trades is here. Sorry, guys, my kids bombarded me and I wasn't expecting it. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Oh, almost hit the wrong button. Let's recap this. Look at this, Bitcoin. Oh, it's still in the green. It's nice to see it's still in the green, but it is 39,983 bucks. All right, let's see. Everything else looks pretty decent, guys. Hopefully we'll have a altcoin rally. That would be fantastic. But I mean, whatever. Don't go crazy, guys. Things still look okay. They look okay. The week and the month, not so much, but everything else. Look at this. Power Mines. There you go, buddy. Look at that. Look at that. On the month, it's up 86.3%.
Number one, I don't care. Please stop talking about this shit.
I love giving them shit. Anyways, all right. What other coins you guys looking at? Let's check out these. Let's look at a lithium real quick because I'm still mining lithium. It's up to $1.85, up 24.5%. Not too bad in the last 24 hours. Oh wow, it went down to $1.50. Wow, interesting. I'm just holding my lithium. I don't know about you guys. I was never really a big miner of a lithium, to be honest, but my whole farm's on it now and it's staying there for the time being. Let's see. Mr. Chump, the goat, is here. Where is the sound bit? Where is he? I don't see him. He's not here, Max. You're lying to me. He's not here. But we do know
this hash rate's going bonkers.
That's what we know. Mr. Max Voltage. All right, let's check out honey again. Honey is down to 19.83 cents as of right now. It was at 20 cents earlier. Hopefully we have another run up on this. What other coins you guys into? Let's see. ETC POW. Oh god, I'm scared to look at this one. ETC POW. We made a video about this not too long ago. It's up 40.9% and it's 21 cents. What?
Bruh.
What? How low did it go? Went down to 15 cents. This went down 15 cents. Wow, 13. Oh, that's gross. That's terrible. All-time low was 13 cents. Wow. A day ago. Wow. Is anybody still into this? Nexa. Let's check out Nexa. All right, let's see Nexa. See what you guys are saying in the chat. Have a good day, Mr. Max Voltage. General Voltage. Appreciate you, buddy. Next is up 4.7% at 5 zeros after the penny. 6982. Nice. I actually like how CoinGecko does that now. Let's see. RXD, Radiant. Oh, you know what? Radiant. Mr. Blue Moon Mining. If you guys don't know who he is, go check him out. He actually put a short out yesterday. It was not yesterday, maybe it was the day before, but it was a new pool or something. There's a Radiant pool. And it's the same ones that, if I'm not mistaken, Ice River uses for Kaspa. And he said that there was like, I think 25 terahashes on it. I forget, to be honest. I think it was around there. And either way, he was wondering if there was new ASICs coming to Hump Pool. That's what it was, Dom G. Thank you. Hump Pool had a new pool come out. And he said there was they could be testing some Radiant ASICs. I wonder if that's gonna actually happen, but it's looking like it's at a tenth of a penny, almost 2/10 of a penny, up 8.9% today. Not too bad. Radiant's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Not really, honestly, I don't have any of it, but it is a lower cap coin, right? 16 million overall, 16.5. So it has a good chance to have a decent run up. Real quick, oh, you know what? Tangem. Let's see. If you guys are interested in Tangem crypto wallet, CCXD for 10% off your purchase if you guys are interested. But this, where is it? They're adding new coins. I think Radiant's coming to it. Where's the where's the list, Steven Cicero? Do you know? Oh, and they added the seed phrase thing here. But yeah, if you guys do coupon code CCXD, you'll get a discount, 10% off Tangem. It's pretty awesome, and it's super cheap for a hardware wallet. Let's see. Where the hell is it? Manage. Partnerships. Blog. No. God, sorry. Flashbang, like crypto. Crypto would say. I don't know where it is. Anyways, yeah, geez. Apologize. I don't know. I think it might have been on, Discord. I hate opening Discord. It's gonna crash. Let's see. Let's see if I can open Discord. I hate opening Discord when I'm streaming because it like literally just kills my computer. So we're gonna see. And I apologize for the minions running around in the background, but I gotta get out of here and go clean my wife's car off in a second because it did snow. Or truck off. That way I don't have to shovel. All right, let's see. Steven Cicero, where did you put this? Let me go back. Let's just see when Tangem is getting these coins. Where is it? Hold on, bear with me. How long ago did you send it? Probably talked too much in this damn chat. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, you can see right here. So January is this VeChain, and then XDC, then they have Algorand, Hedera, and Aptos in February. In March, Nexa, Koinos, Radiant, and if that's how you say that, and Dynex, which is cool. So these coins are all coming to Tangem if you guys are interested. These are obviously main chain coins, which is pretty cool. So again, Tangem, code CCXD if you guys are interested in that. All right. Anyways, guys, I gotta get the hell out of here. I hope you guys all have a happy and safe Wednesday. Enjoy your hump day, and I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, my kid is like babbling in the background. Have a good one. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace out. I'll catch you on Miss Randy Hipper's stream. We're gonna redirect you guys over there right now. Starts in about a half hour. Peace.